I trusted my family just once, and that one mistake cost us our unborn daughter's life and destroyed everything we built. I never thought my own family could betray me like this. My girlfriend Sophia and I were building a new life, far away from our toxic families, dreaming of a future together. She was 6 months pregnant, and we were so excited for our first daughter, who we planned to name Lily. We were painting the nursery a soft pink, buying tiny dresses, imagining holding her in our arms. But in one moment, everything fell apart. I came home from work to find our apartment door broken open, the lock shattered. Inside, Sophia was on the floor, curled up in a ball, her face covered in bruises, her arms marked with red welts. She was sobbing, clutching her stomach, whispering, "They took her. They took our baby." I dropped to my knees, holding her, my heart pounding with terror. She told me her parents had forced their way in and attacked her. They screamed at her, calling her a disgrace for running away, for being with me, for getting pregnant. Her father grabbed her by the hair, threw her against the wall, and kicked her in the stomach while her mother stood there yelling, "You deserve this!" Sophia tried to fight back, but she didn't stand a chance. By the time they left, she was bleeding, the pain unbearable. I rushed her to the hospital, my hands shaking on the steering wheel, praying we weren't too late. But we were. The doctors did everything they could, but Sophia miscarried. We lost Lily. I held her in the hospital room as she cried, her body shaking with sobs, her hands gripping mine so tightly it hurt. I couldn't cry, I was too angry, too broken. I knew this wasn't a random attack. Sophia's parents had no idea where we lived. We'd been so careful to keep our location a secret. Someone had tipped them off, and I had a sinking feeling I knew who. Sophia and I had escaped our families years ago. My parents were controlling, obsessed with their reputation, and disowned me when I refused to follow their plans for my life. Her parents were even worse, abusive, controlling her every move, even beating her for the smallest mistakes. We thought we'd left that behind, but I was wrong. A week earlier, my mom called out of the blue. I hadn't heard from my parents in years, not since I left home. She said they wanted to reconnect and make things right. I didn't trust them, but Sophia convinced me to hear them out. "Maybe they've changed," she said, always seeing the best in people. I agreed to meet them at a diner in town, hoping for a fresh start. My parents were there, along with my younger brother Nathan, their golden child, always perfect in their eyes. I told them about Sophia, our life, and the baby we were expecting. They seemed happy, even emotional, saying they were proud of me. Nathan smiled, playing the role of the perfect son, as always. But during the meeting, he asked for our address, saying he wanted to send a gift for the baby. I hesitated, but my mom insisted. "We're family, you can trust us." So I gave it to them like an idiot. That was my biggest mistake. After the attack, I started digging. I knew someone had given away our location, and all signs pointed to my family. I called the diner where we'd met, and the manager remembered my mom talking on the phone after I left, sounding agitated, mentioning something about fixing a family issue. I checked Sophia's phone, which she dropped during the attack, and found a threatening voicemail from a blocked number. "We know where you are, Sophia. You can't hide." A friend who's good with tech traced the number. It was a burner phone, but it all added up. I realized my family had contacted Sophia's parents and given them our address. They knew how dangerous her parents were. I'd told them at the diner about her past, about what she'd escaped. But they did it anyway, like Sophia and our baby meant nothing to them. I was shaking with rage. My fists clenched so hard my nails dug into my palms. They'd taken everything from me, and I wasn't going to let it slide. The days after we lost Lily were a haze of grief and rage. Sophia was a shell of herself, barely eating, barely speaking, her eyes red from crying. I tried to be strong for her, holding her through the night as she sobbed, but inside, I was falling apart too. I couldn't stop thinking about my family's betrayal. They knew how dangerous Sophia's parents were. I'd told them at the diner about her past, about the abuse she'd escaped, and yet, they'd handed her over to them like she was nothing, like our baby was nothing. I needed answers, and I needed them now. I drove to my parents' house, my hands gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. Their house looked the same as always, a perfect suburban home with a manicured lawn, the kind that screamed, "We have it all together." But I knew the truth behind that facade. I banged on the door, my heart pounding with fury. My mom opened it, her face pale, her eyes wide with surprise. "What are you doing here?" she stammered. I pushed past her, storming into the living room where my dad and Nathan were sitting, watching television like nothing had happened. I didn't waste time. "You gave Sophia's parents our address, didn't you?" I shouted, my voice shaking with rage. My dad stood up, his face hardening. "Calm down. You don't know what you're talking about," he said. But I saw the guilt in his eyes, the way he wouldn't meet my gaze. My mom started crying, wringing her hands. "We wanted to help. We thought if her parents knew, they'd come around, be part of the baby's life." I cut her off, my voice rising. "Come around! They beat her! They broke into our home, attacked my pregnant girlfriend, and we lost our baby! Lily's gone because of you!" The room went silent, the weight of my words hanging in the air. My dad's face fell, his shoulders slumping, but Nathan just sat there, his expression cold, like he didn't care. That's when I lost it. I turned to him, my voice low and dangerous. "You asked for our address. You set this up, didn't you? You've always hated that I broke free from this family, that I built a life without you." Nathan smirked, leaning back in his chair. "You're paranoid. Maybe Sophia deserved it. She's not exactly family material, is she?" That was it. Something snapped inside me. I lunged at him, grabbing him by the collar and throwing him to the floor. He tried to fight back, but I was stronger, fueled by rage and grief. I punched him, over and over, my fist slamming into his face, his chest, anywhere I could reach. My mom screamed, "Stop!" My dad tried to pull me off, but I shoved him away. Nathan was bleeding, his nose broken, his eyes swelling shut, but I didn't care. He'd taken everything from me, and I wanted him to hurt like I was hurting. Finally, my dad managed to drag me off, pinning me against the wall. "Enough! You're out of control!" he yelled. I was panting, my hands bloody, my chest heaving. Nathan was on the floor, groaning, clutching his face. My mom was sobbing, kneeling beside him, calling him her poor baby. I looked at them, my family, and felt nothing but disgust. "You're all monsters," I spat. "You destroyed my life and now you're playing the victims? I'm done with you." I stormed out, ignoring their shouts, and drove back to Sophia. She was sitting on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, her eyes hollow. I told her what happened, my voice breaking as I admitted I'd lost control. She didn't say anything at first, just reached for my hand, her fingers cold against mine. "I don't blame you," she whispered. "But we can't let them win. We need to fight back. For Lily." I nodded, my jaw clenched. She was right. Beating up Nathan wasn't enough. My family needed to face real consequences for what they'd done. I started gathering evidence. I already had the voicemail from Sophia's parents, but I needed more. I went back to the diner and got the manager to confirm on record that my mom had been on the phone after our meeting, talking about fixing a family problem. I also got a copy of the hospital report detailing Sophia's injuries and the miscarriage, linking it to the attack. I contacted a lawyer friend who told me we had a case not just against Sophia's parents for assault, but against my family for orchestrating it. They could be charged with conspiracy or reckless endangerment, especially since their actions led to the loss of our baby. I also found out Nathan had been the one to make the call. He'd bragged about it to a mutual friend, saying he took care of the problem because he didn't want me tainting the family name with my messy life. That was the final straw. I knew what I had to do. I wasn't going to let this go with a fistfight. I was going to make sure they faced justice, no matter what it took. Sophia and I decided to fight back not just for ourselves, but for Lily. We couldn't bring her back, but we could make sure no one else suffered because of our families. With the evidence I'd gathered, the voicemail, the hospital report, the diner manager's statement, and Nathan's confession to his friend, we went to the police. Sophia's parents were arrested within days, charged with assault and battery. The police took one look at the hospital report, saw the extent of Sophia's injuries, and knew this wasn't a minor incident. Her dad tried to claim it was discipline, but the judge didn't buy it. They were both facing serious jail time, and I felt a small sense of relief knowing they couldn't hurt Sophia again. But I wasn't done. My family needed to face consequences too. The police investigated their involvement, and with the evidence of the phone call and Nathan's bragging, they were charged with reckless endangerment. The prosecutor said their actions directly led to the attack, making them partially responsible for the loss of our baby. The legal battle was grueling. My parents hired a fancy lawyer, trying to paint me as the villain, bringing up the fight with Nathan as proof I was unstable. They even tried to drag Sophia's past into it, saying she was troubled and unfit to be a mother. But our lawyer was better. He presented the hospital report, the voicemail, and Nathan's confession, showing the court exactly who was to blame. The judge was furious, especially with my parents. "You betrayed your own son and put his partner in danger," she said, her voice cold. "Your actions led to the loss of an unborn child." "That's not a mistake, that's a crime. My parents were sentenced to community service and probation, a lighter punishment than I'd hoped for, but it still hit them hard. Their perfect reputation in town was shattered. Neighbors whispered about them, old friends stopped calling, and my dad's business lost clients. Nathan got a harsher sentence, 6 months in jail for his role in orchestrating the attack, plus a fine. I didn't feel sorry for him. He'd taken everything from me, and now he was paying the price. After the trial, my parents reached out, saying they wanted to reconcile and help us move forward. They showed up at our apartment one day, uninvited, with a check for $5,000, saying it was to cover our losses. I was disgusted. "You think money can fix this?" I shouted, tearing the check in half. "You cost us our daughter! I never want to see you again!" Sophia stood beside me, her voice quiet but firm. "Leave, or we'll call the police." They left, my mom crying, my dad muttering about how ungrateful I was. I didn't care. They were dead to me. Sophia and I started therapy, trying to heal from the trauma. It wasn't easy some days. Sophia couldn't get out of bed, the grief too heavy. I'd hold her, whispering that we'd get through this together. Other days, I'd break down, the anger and guilt overwhelming me. I felt like I'd failed to protect her, to protect Lily, but Sophia would remind me, "You fought for us. You got justice for our baby." We're slowly rebuilding our lives. We moved to a new apartment, a fresh start away from the memories of that awful day. Sophia started painting again, something she hadn't done since the attack, and I've been taking on more hours at the garage, saving up for our future. We talk about Lily every day, keeping her memory alive. There's a small pink teddy bear on our shelf, one we'd bought for her, a reminder of the love we had for her. We're not ready to try for another baby, yet the pain is still too raw, but we know we want a family someday. For now, we're focusing on healing, on each other. I don't regret what I did, not the fight with Nathan, not the legal battle, not cutting my family out of my life. They thought they could control us, break us, but they were wrong. We're stronger than they'll ever be, and I'll never let anyone hurt Sophia again. For Lily, for us, I'll keep fighting no matter what.